What's up, guys? I just wanted to talk about some liabilities in the transportation industry. Just in general, child transportation, non-emergency medical, you talking about wheelchair and stuff like that. Just things that people don't really think about before trying to get into transportation. Not saying that you're supposed to be afraid of it. No, not at all. But it is things that you can prevent, and things that you gotta think about. I peeked at a comment somebody just left me on the last video also. They asked me, do you think I think it was this child transportation more simple than non-emergency medical? I would say yeah, but at the same time you can make a lot more money with non-emergency medical transportation. It just all depends on what you want and what you're trying to get out of this. You know what I'm saying? I look at this stuff a little bit different probably than other people. Other people probably look at it different from me, but you got to figure out what you want out of it. You got to roll with that. Let's talk about liabilities, things you should think about. Non-emergency medical transportation. We're talking about wheelchair transportation. I don't know if this is considered a liability, but things you got to think about and liabilities. People lying to you, talking about how much they weigh. You know what I mean? You got a driver, person say 200 pounds, then you get that person 400 pounds. Then your driver can't push the person on the vehicle. They can't push them in a wheelchair, right? People lying, talking about they got a ramp or they got to wait for them to get down the steps. Then when you get there, ain't no ramp. Now, if your employee not properly trained how to get this person down the steps without a ramp, that's another issue. So training has to be in place for non-emergency medical transportation. You got to have training. Safety, you got to strap people down the correct way to ensure that they're safe on that ride. So you got to have some type of training in place when you talk about hiring employees. There's no slack with that. Things you got to think about. Clients, your employees being patient with the client, right? You don't want nobody rushing, get nobody on that vehicle. That person injured themselves, hit their leg. I've heard horror stories about non-emergency medical transportation companies. Look them up on YouTube. Horror stories of non-emergency medical transportation companies. Bad stories of non-emergency medical transportation companies. They mess people's legs and arms, all types of stuff up, man. Just having the wrong employees. You gotta make sure you have the right employees when you're dealing with non-emergency medical transportation, because it could cost you a lot of money, especially if you don't have the correct insurance. So these are things you got to be mindful of. Proper training must be in place if you're not doing it yourself. You know what I mean? You got to train your employee. Child transportation, you got to worry about, got to have proper, that dude got the same guy calls me. That's funny. That's an older one. But you got to make sure you got proper insurance. Kids can lie. Say that the driver did something to them. That's why it's good to cover yourself. Next year, us hiring 4 people, drivers, we're gonna have videos in the cars to protect the outsiders at all times. People lie, y'all. You know what I'm saying? During liability, something happened to them, waiting on you. If you pick them up in the morning on that outside their front door. You know what I'm saying? If it's raining outside, make sure they ain't playing around and stuff. They slip and fall getting in the car, right? Make sure you tell them, kids like to run and play. Make sure they not running to the vehicle when they getting in the vehicle. They slip and fall. We done had a child fall out the van, getting out of the van. Thank God they was good parents, but that was a learning experience. Now, next year, we putting the, I can't remember the name of it, the little step thing right there for the smaller kids to ensure they can get in that van and they don't fall. You know what I mean? Getting extra handles installed on the vans. That way they had something to hold in the running board. Make sure the running board at the bottom on the 15 passes. That way they can get out the van properly. Make sure they off the van and have an extra handle to hold on. We're going to invest in that over the summertime, right? These are all liabilities that can take you out of business. These are things you got to think about, right? We even going to the point of having, I'm thinking about getting the video cameras on the outside of the car. It might be a little screen. We haven't had no incidents in 5 years, right? 6 years, nothing serious, but just in case though. You know, here lately, cars been pulling out in front of my wife. Every day she telling me 1-2 cars pulling out in front of her. But what if we had kids in the van? But you got the video camera on the outside. What? Their insurance company is liable. So you might want to protect yourself and have that. These are things you got to think about. It might cost a little extra money, but it'll protect you if you got 10, 15 kids in the car. So to me, it's worth it if I got 14 kids in the car. And you know if something happened to a child, parents are coming. Because the child, one of the most precious things on the earth is your child. People would go before they let their child go. They would die for their children. Us as parents, we would die for our children. In other words, also, we would do anything for our children. We would go all the way for our children if a situation was to happen to them, right? Or our loved one, our older parents, or anything like that. That's why you gotta be aware of these things. You know what I mean? Once you get to a place in business, you better be prayed up over your business. And then once you get to a place in business, you know, put the cameras over there. My wife said, hey, we gotta pray more. We ain't been praying enough over the business. And we have slacked up, right? So you better have prayer and cameras over your business nowadays, right? Not trying to put no fear in nobody, anything. But business is a liability in general. That's why a lot of people don't go in business. But those are just some of the things right there. Just be properly insured. Once you start, you know, sometimes I don't want it before not having a correct insurance. I'm not gonna lie to y'all in the beginning. But you know, I would tell y'all not to do that because it's not worth it. I thank God for covering me the times that I did do that. So yeah, I done lost my chain of thought. Yeah, I'm looking at this car and I'm running behind, trying to I gotta do the route today. The driver, he's out of town, he's in Florida. So I gotta cover the route until Wednesday. So I'm on my way back over here to get the van. Then I gotta drive to Wake Forest. So yeah, so that's just some liabilities to think about. Other things to think about. Non-emergency medical transportation. You want to make sure you're dealing with wheelchair lifts, stuff like that. You want to make sure you're getting that stuff maintained and getting that stuff looked at. You don't want to be out one day, even though they got the little part on where you can manually do it. You know, you want to make sure you get your stuff properly looked at, properly checked at. If it's every 6 months or once a year, you want to get that stuff maintenance and get it looked at. Because you don't want to be out there one day, then you go to put the lift down and it's stuck. It don't work. You know? And then you don't even know how to use the manual operation because you never even touched it before. So know how to use your own equipment. That's another thing, you know? Just in case an emergency was to happen one day. Ensure your employee know how to use that equipment, just in case. But that's why some people just go with the rollbacks. That way they only have to deal with that electric stuff. Because we all know electric stuff breaks sooner or later, right? But sometimes those vans are cheaper to get when you're getting into this. So you gotta go what you gotta go with according to your finances. But this video a little too long. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I just want to make a quick video on this. And I got one more video for y'all today. I'll make that video when I'm on my way to work.